Hello, everyone. Today I wanted to talk about a 1969 movie recently released on a new boutique label here in the U.S., and it is I Start Counting. It stars Jenny Agutter and Brian Marshall, directed by David Green. It features a absolutely superb performance by Jenny Agutter. It's one of the great portrayals of adolescence I think you're likely to see in the movies. It's very sensitive. It seems very realistic. The story concerns she's an adopted child, and she has two older stepbrothers. The one who is oldest, about 30 years old, Jenny Agutter is playing a part that's about 15. She has a very much of a romantic infatuation with him. He's very kind to her, but his life experiences have led him to be very cynical. Jenny Aguter's part, she's called Win, I guess short for Winifred in the movie, is maintaining her childlike innocence. And he's quite touched by this innocence and constantly tells her, "Oh, I wish you could stay this way forever, that you won't have this moment of loss of innocence." And this film delivers a loss of innocence moment that is very poignant, very powerful. But at the background of the story is of a serial killer who is killing young women in the area of which they live. And Wynn, Jenny Agutter's character, discovers fairly significant circumstantial evidence that her older stepbrother may indeed be the killer. This doesn't deter her love. As a matter of fact, she fantasizes about how she will stand by her man no matter what. She becomes like Nancy Drew. She follows him to perhaps prevent another killing, to see what he's up to, because as part of the circumstantial evidence, he makes some mysterious trips in the middle of the night. There's also a girlfriend. She's Catholic, goes to a Catholic school. She has a girlfriend who is played by Claire Sutcliffe, and her adolescence, whereas Wynn doesn't want to grow up, doesn't want to become a young woman. Her friend is eager to become a young woman. She's sexualized. She wears very short skirts. Lots of makeup. She flirts with the boys, whereas Wynn remains demure, wears her school's skirt proper length. When she goes out, she doesn't wear much makeup. She doesn't flirt with the boys. But she does go to visit her childhood home in the countryside, a bus ride away. The family has moved into a brand new flat, a brand new apartment complex. We see images of demolition of old buildings and the constructions of new apartments. But this new flat that they live in seems sterile. It's small, and whereas the house that they lived in the forest was to Win a very enchanted place. But it too is run down, and it is scheduled for demolition. But she keeps returning there to stay connected to her childhood, so as the movie progresses, it's sort of a psychological suspense type movie. The serial killer, we never actually see any murders. If you want to watch this movie thinking that you're going to be seeing gory murders and monstrous serial killer, this movie isn't for you. This is, although at the end it's very suspenseful, very beautifully done in the darkness of the woods, the chase. It's really beautiful, and there's a very good commentary by Sam Dagan, and I always ask for a female commentator on female-centric movies, and we get one here. And she really explores the character that is played by Jenny Agutter, and also the girlfriend who is hiding her own insecurities as she in her eagerness to become an adult, and she brags about experiences that she's never had. There's a short video essay that's pretty good. But the extras, the piece de resistance of the extras is definitely a interview from 2020 with Jenny Agutter, and it runs about 20 minutes, and she recalls her experiences in making the movie. It was a very happy memory for her. She really responded well to David Green, the director, who treated her very sensitively. There wasn't even any, she laughs that there was no, he informed the crew there would be no swearing. She came out of a boarding school, but she did have significant, TV credits already. So she was an experienced actress. I think she was 16 when she made the film. And she's very happy, obviously, that this movie, which was never even released in the U.S. and was dismissed fairly summarily in the U.K., is now getting this Blu-ray release, because, I mean, I think, I've not seen all of Jenny Agutter's movies, but I would say this is her top performance. Her more famous role, of course, was in Nick Rogue's Walkabout, but Rogue's movie, that's more a Nick Rogue movie than it is a Jenny Agutter movie, which this is, where she's part of the visual design of the film. Here she really gets a chance to shine. And there's also a very good, it's very short, very small booklet, but it's got two essays in here that I thought were superb, and I wish they had been longer. One is I Start Directing, and by Amanda Reyes, and it's David Green's Complicated Family Stories. And Green was a director that I never really knew much about. Looking over his filmography, I did notice Grey Lady Down, which I remembered seeing. I think that was from the 80s. He had been a TV director, and then he made 3 films in a row: The Shuttered Room, this film, and The Strange Affair, I think it was, and none of which made much of a splash. He went back to working in TV in the U.S., won 4 Emmy Awards, and so he did Rich Man, Poor Man miniseries. He did the first episode of Roots. One credit on his filmography that shined out at me is a TV movie of Whatever Happened to Baby Jane in the 1990s, which starred Vanessa Redgrave and her sister Lynn Redgrave in the Bette Davis, Joan Crawford roles. And then the second essay in here, in this short booklet, is Remembrances of Basil Cunnigham. And Basil Cunnigham was the composer of I Start Counting and David Green's other 2 films that I mentioned. And he also scored other films, and he had worked with George Martin, very pre-Beatles. He had worked with Brian Eno. He made a 2-part album called World Within Worlds, experimental music. It was overlooked in its time, much as this movie was, but it is highly regarded today, many years later. But there's one story in this section on Basil Cunnigham where he is a scruffy-looking, penniless old man renting movies in a VHS video store. He comes in every couple days, rents 3-4 movies, doesn't say anything. But one day he walks up to the astonished clerk with a VHS copy of The Abominable Dr. Phibes and very proudly points at the movie and says, "I wrote the music to this," which I thought was, I love those kind of stories where people who have achieved something in their lives that is actually going to endure, but have fallen into obscurity, can sort of reconnect with the accomplishments of when they were younger. So overall, just another, I thought, terrific movie. I can't understand how this movie is, basically because of Jenny Agutter's performance, but I thought this was another excellent presentation from Fun City. Okay, you guys take care. I always forget to say, you know, subscribe, like, but really what I'd love to get is comments, especially if you've ever seen this movie or if you're a Jenny Agutter fan like me. Other than that, you guys take care, and I will catch you next time.